What's good, y'all? This is the Real A-Town, and here we are looking into my Master Duel run so far. So, last season, I hit Masters, and it's been a while since I even been in Masters in the first place because the formats overall that Master Duel has had hasn't been like the greatest so far, or at least lately, right? When we look at the current, past six ranks that I've had, a lot of these have been me just not enjoying the games as much because, um, Snake Eye format lasted for damn near a year, and in that we also had to deal with Ubel and Tenpai, and I'm not someone that just exclusively plays Master Duel. I'm someone that plays in the TCG as well, right? And having to focus that and funnel it here to try to enjoy the game wasn't the greatest. And then there was that period of time where, after Snake Eyes finally got hit, we were able to play specifically with Mermail and Maliss, and still, coming from a combo heavy format, going to other combo decks didn't feel that great. And now here, last season when Ryzeal came out, that's when I got really invested because, there's combos in Ryzeal, but it isn't like, a Malice end board or a Mermail end board. Nowhere near a Snake Eye end board, of course, right? So, that brought me to want to come back into Master Duel and actually try. And so, I'm steadily climbing back up, right back to Masters, and I'm hoping to be able to go further, right? And so that is what I have been investing my time into currently. In the recent changes of the TCG, we saw that the new policies came about. Konami changing the tournament structure of how Top Cut will be for Tier 3 and 4 events. Well, realistically, only Tier 3 matters because you have to actually qualify for Worlds, but that's neither here nor there. And then also the end of match procedures for time, right? In which, if you haven't watched my my recent video, basically, instead of 45 minutes, we now get 50 minutes for a match, and if you cannot complete the match with a determined victor, both players will receive a match loss. And it's pushing me away from the TCG, which really sucks because I really enjoy current TCG format with the Jush decks and moving forward towards Doom of Dimensions. So I may lean towards focus on Master Duel. I'm not going to give up on the TCG because I love the TCG, but I may focus on doing more Master Duel related videos, and we'll just see how that goes. But for right now, of course, I want to showcase my a few of the matches that I've had that I've really enjoyed since hopping back on Master Duel and having essentially a second episode uploaded of best matches that I've had recently. Now, if there's one thing that, I have to deal with on ladder a lot is Maliss. Maliss is as popular as it's ever been on high ladder, and I wouldn't say Diamond is high ladder. It's definitely high up there, but it's not, it's not the craziest thing in the world, right? So anyways, here my opponent drops the Allure, and I know I have to drop Fua because if he's playing Branded or Maliss, I don't want him to draw into an Ash Blossom here to punish me for not activating it earlier. And, he ends up banishing, what's it called? I haven't seen Necroface in so long, which ends up banishing quite a few cards for him, not important ones, although we see he plays Board Breakers, and a bunch of hand traps for me along with a 7 Tachyon, but that's okay because I have both Bonfire and 7th in hand, so I feel good. The opponent is going to end up choosing not to play into the Fua though. He goes ahead and sets the MTP, draws 2 more cards with Allure, activates MTP. I'm like, I want to negate this, and he called buys, but it's okay. He drew 4 cards, so he's bound to see it. then summons Chessie, draws 2 more cards, and if we see, he banished 2 copies of March Hare and White Rabbit, just to, I guess, potentially hope that I skip my turn with the amount of hand traps that he has, and currently my hand is looking really good, right? But he drops Maxx C, and I'm like, well, now I have to make a decision. Do I play into it or not? And I think in here I have to concede to the Maxx C a little bit and just make a detonator. But my opponent misplays because he called by my Ash, and now he uses his. And I think that puts him into a bit of a pickle because he sees that it's negated and drops the called by, and now because I added the Ice Ryzeal, I'm able to actually play here without giving him any more draws. So I've set up the star, set up cross, attack over the Chessie, attack directly, he drops Druis, and then summons back the Chessie, in which I replay into the Chessie here. Then I set up a detonator in defense mode because, you know, I don't want him to crash with the Druid Swarm and bait out a negate from the cross. And I think he ends up scooping it up here when I pop the Dormouse Chain Veiler. You're going to see a lot of that in this video today. So that ended up being a straight dub for me. Another deck that I've seen make the rounds is a Branded, and it really sucks because I'm having to deal with Branded both in the TCG, at least last year I did, and now here again, and it just never ends. People who love that deck will continue playing it no matter what. And so, as you saw, I did start with a 7 tech Ascension to see if I can bait out an Ash, because I have talents. But, you know, it doesn't work out in my favor. So I just go for full combo. And then he opts to drop the Nib once I resolve the Duo Drive, which is a little strange because, like, surely if you're going to attempt it, it should be on the Duo Drive effect to search so that I can't detach. Anyways, from there, I end up talents, looking at the hand, and ripping the Gold Star, because that for me was the guarantee to Branded Fusion. And if his only option to get Branded Fusion is to send Retribution from the hand to the graveyard, and then, like, you know, putting Branded Fusion in the grave with, like, let's say a Saronir, then I think I'm fine. Although I think we see him misplay here, and we'll see that in a moment. But basically, I know that he still can get access to it some way, somehow. It's branded, of course, right? It doesn't matter how many copies there is. So I go for the Dugaris and then go for the cross to, you know, draw. And I can't find an Ash Blossom whatsoever. So I basically have to pray that my follow-up ends up beating what he tries to set up on board. And here he starts with the Lubellion. Grabs the Saronir, and then goes Albion to send Branded Retribution. But, like, I think Albion can send Branded Fusion, and if he found a way to discard the Retribution here, which, I mean, he could have, probably, I don't know, then he could have got the Branded Fusion back. However, he sent the Retribution, which means he plays multiple copies, and then he goes ahead and crashes the Saronir. I debate for a while to see if I should negate this, but ultimately I say, yeah, I have to remove it, and I win the game. Now here I'm going second, and I'm feeling very good because I have both Fua and the Maxx C, right? And I'm playing against what looks to be Fiendsmith here, but you'll see that it's actually Fiendsmith Ryzeal. And so here I want to see if I can maximize the amount of draws possible, so I drop the Maxx C on the Ash. I wait to activate the Fua after he summons the Lurie. That way, you know, if he wants to do anything with it, he has to commit to the summon. Although I could have waited till he made Requiem, right? But Lord knows that was going to be the case. The thing is with Fiendsmith is you really cannot play around the Fua whatsoever. So even though he fuses off the hand to make the Lacrima, I'm still going to get 2 draws if he chooses to make a Caesar here. And I beat the Caesar easily with the 7 Tachyon because that grabs X, which dumps the Muriologic, and then boom, I don't have to worry about that card ever. But Ryzeal already plays around that card anyways. So here, now he reveals the 7 Tachyon, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. Because he put back a card because of 7 Tachyon, I can freely negate the Ice Ryzeal, and then I can start playing in my turn freely, because again, 7 Tachyon beats the only interruption that he has. So you're just gonna see me essentially do him dirty, and of course I also have talents, because why the fuck not. He actually gives me an opportunity to use the talents here, you'll see here shortly, but yeah, this is just basic cookie cutter combo. I normal summon the ice, he activates a Caesar for whatever reason, and then scoops him up. So yeah, this was a really bad match for him. And just when you thought there was going to be variation here, trust me, there is not. My starting hand is really weak here. You know, I have to normal summon Node instead of normal summon Sword, because if he has like an Imperm or a Veiler or an Ash for the Sword, then I have to stop my turn there and I lose the game. I mean, I could always like Talons draw too, but that would feel really bad. The thing is though, is that I do not get hit with any of those cards. In fact, he just drops the Maxx C, and so now I have to concede to it a little bit and, you know, just make as good of a board as I can, which is more than likely going to just be a Detonator or a Baguska. I'm paranoid though, so I don't know which decision to make. Because even if it's the mirror match, Baguska alone doesn't win. Right Zeal Detonator definitely doesn't win. So I'm going to have to rely on both the Veiler and the Maxx C here to do a lot of work, right? And so me choosing to activate the talents now to look at his hand is just so I can make the best steps to, you know, to which monster I'm going to make here. And it ends up being Maliss. He has double underground, he has White Rabbit. I cannot hit anything other than the Gold Sword, because that is basically the second extender. And so, you know, I have to just make a Detonator and pass here. So, you know, 2 pops is still a pretty good interruption piece against Maliss no matter what, but it still sucks. So here he has Chessie, and I'm like, okay, sick. That is probably, you know, because ultimately he's going to be an unknown because he drew 2, 1 off the Maxx C and 1 for turn. But I feel pretty good about popping it and then chaining Veiler, and that would prevent him from being able to utilize anything other than a underground, unless he hard drew into a Bestial. And if he does, again, I have the Maxx C, so maybe it makes them stop there. But he doesn't end up having the Druid Swarm, because once I decide to pop the Maliss and Underground, he ends up scooping up the game. So that is a GG for me. CH Porter or Porto ends up scooping it up. Just when you thought there wasn't enough Maliss, you'd be wrong. Here, my matchup is also going to be against Maliss, and my only starter is X. I dumped the, what did I dump? Dual Drive, yeah. And he imperms, and that is like the worst thing that could have happened. It could have been Ash Blossom, it could have been Veiler, it could have been Droll on Resolution, and I would have been able to call by, but sadly, that was not the case, and I also don't have an extra level 4 in hand to be able to continue my play, so I have to pass. My opponent ends up drawing the Chessie, and I could have waited to see if he activated a Chessie Cat effect for me to chain the Maxx C and see if I can play, right? But I decided to do it now because, you know, no matter what, he's going to commit to a special summon potentially to either get rid of the X or to try to set something up so that I lose on the follow-up, because again, I did nothing else, which means I have no other plays, right? But he has his own copy of Called By, and I can't stop that, so it feels like I'm just losing at every single interaction point possible. But things turn up for me. He actually doesn't use the effect in Lynx for the Lingaribo, and when he activates the Druid Swarm for the Chessie, I just called the Chessie, but thus preventing him from having 2 bodies, the Druid Swarm and the Chessie Cat. And now it comes back to me. I need to draw level 4 or I lose, and I draw Starry Zeal. Not the best draw, right, but it works here because it gives me access to Duo Drive. And here's where I do a kind of bad play. I search for Sword and Plugin because I'm thinking he's going to use this Druid Swarm right on my Starry Zeal. And then I can punish him by using the plugin, putting up the field spell, and then winning from there. But it never really got that far. I think realistically I should have just made, what's it called? I should have added the cross instead and played much safer. Because if I had gotten hit with a Nibiru, I think I lost. The cool thing about playing Master Duel though is that occasionally you are going to play against Flavor of the Week, and here, you know, I reveal Masquerade with the 7 Tachyon. He changed Maxx C. I kind of had to just stop that, even though I have my own copy, because no shot I'm gonna let him resolve this. And I have talents now as well to look at his hand and try to play through it, right? So I do that because, again, my only starter is going to be X, and I have no extender. So here I look at his hand, evenly call by Engraver, Ash. I cannot stop any of these cards, right? And I cannot play through the Ash Blossom whatsoever. And because I had to call by his Maxx C, I'm never going to be able to bait this out on his turn, right? So, I mean, if I want to play, even though he has an evenly in hand, I have to hit the Ash Blossom. If I had legit any other level 4, like let's say I had Sword or Ice, I would have hit the evenly. But unfortunately, that is not the case here. So I put back the Ash, and I decide I'm going to just make a small little end board with follow-up, and then, you know, hope that I can just beat everything with a detonator, right? So on the Star Summon, I choose not to put the field spell because I don't want to lose access to it ever. So I just set the plugin, and because I know he doesn't have Nibiru, like I can freely do this without getting punished too hard. My idea is if he goes evenly, I can, you know, pop my own detonator if I have to, and then summon it back with plugin. So that I still have like my pops, right? And I would do this just so that I don't have to banish the plugin either. But like, you know, no matter what, it was something that was going to happen. So I basically had to play super conservative. So here, you know, I go for the Duo Drive. Same fiasco. I just grab the node plus the cross here. This so I can use it next turn. And then I go for Dugares because I'm like, you know what, I might as well draw some cards, and then I draw into the called by. For me, this is really good because now I don't have to use the plugin and worry about it. And if he uses Engraver, I get to stop it with called by. If he removes the rest of my cards on field with evenly, I have the Fulos to back me up, right? So I am actually feeling pretty good about this. So I set it, and then I pass, and of course he goes evenly. I banish the plugin cross, or plugin Duo Drive and the Dugares, and on the activation of the Engraver, I call by. Now I know this is a call by the grave here, so I have to play around it. So I activate the cross, try to see if he's gonna do it here, and he doesn't. So I get a draw, and then I summon the Node Ryzeal. Node effect, send the Veiler, target the X, and he calls that. And luckily, it never mattered because I have the Fua, which gives me a level 4 to make the Duo Drive, and he cannot stop that. So that is GG. Now, I am done with Rogue for the moment, as we're going to play, again, another real matchup. And it's kind of weird that I have to call Fiendsmith Rogue, but yeah. So here, again, I try to bait out a Ash Blossom with the 7th Ascension, and the main reason I do this, right, is because again, if possible, I want to be able to get rid of any form of interaction my opponent has so that I can play. Sadly, I do get hit with the Droll and Lockbird, and that's on me, but I have Veiler Maxx C to back me up, so I look at his hand to see what he has so I can beat him on the follow-up, and I hit the Maliss in Underground because he has no other starters, and he did have Ash. Sadly, he had Droll. He also had Nib, but the Nib would have never mattered. But you know, we have to play with what we have, right? So I have to pass, and here, guess what he top decks? The Maliss in Underground. I just hit that card, right? Like, I'm not tripping. Whatever. So unfortunately, on the Declaration of Dormouse, I have to Maxx C here, right? Like, there's nothing much that I can do. I have to bait the Ash out here as well, because if he ashes my 7 Tachyon on my turn, I actually have 0 plays, right? But here's the thing, I also have a copy of Veiler. So this Dormouse with the Nib and Druid's Worm is never going to get him to full combo. So he summons it, activates the effect, I negate with Veiler, Dormouse is now negated, and even if he links this off for like a link decoder or a, what's it called, Lingeribo and summons the Druid's Worm, the best thing he can make is SP Little Knight, and that doesn't win him the game. So a lot of wins here. Alright, this time I am going second against Maliss. Here he summons Dormouse, activates the March Hare adds itself back to hand, and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna drop the Maxx C right here. If he has Ash, I probably lose. But luckily, he doesn't chain Ash. He chains his own copy of March Hare. I'm thinking he's gonna banish the Dormouse, but no, he actually has White Rabbit in hand, which he's allowed to summon at this point and set a card. I choose not to Veiler it because he can always still access his trap cards with White Binder, but luckily he does concede to the Maxx C a little bit and summons the Cryptor. Then he uses Gold Sword here, banishing a copy of March Hare, which he only does so that he can get the banish off the Cards Cryptor, but yeah. Anyways, I have Talon's Bonfire plus Crossout and all the follow-up I could ever dream of. So I do, again, this to just bait out an Ash Blossom, and if he has, what's it called, Duel, I don't care because I have Crossout. But he doesn't have Ash, so here now I'm going to drop X Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 Aggregator on the Cryptor so that he cannot use its banish effect, or if he wants to use it, he's forced to use it now. But he did hard draw the Maliss in the Mirror, so, you know, it's fine. This forced out the Maliss in the Mirror to be used, although I don't know why he necessarily used it, considering he could have always done it later. But I guess, like, the opportunities for him to use a single imperm, basically, is not going to really work out in his favor at any time. So here, the Talents is going to be used to bait out the Cryptor effect, which is really nice because once I have it on my field, not only do I have a big beat stick that I can use to beat him over, but my X already attempted to use its effect, which means I no longer have to just have level 4s or an empty board to use it. So from here is just basic, right? A basic line for me to summon Ice, go for the star. And this is when he chooses to go MTP because he wants to be able to summon the March Hare without Cross being available, which I guess makes sense. It just depends on how far it's really going to get him. But he also understands that if he doesn't do anything, he probably loses, right? Because he's at 65. So, you know, I let him play it out. March Hare, banish Rabbit, summon, set what I thought was going to be GWC. It's actually TB11. So I'm like, okay, sure. TB11. I thought he was going to just use it to summon something random from the deck. But I forget that TB11 has a secret effect. When I go for the attacks here, he summons the Binder. And this is so that he can retain as much life points as possible. Sure, why not? Then he adds back the March Hare since he banished it to activate TB11 for cost. And I just run over the White Binder. But I feel like this is really bad because now you lose access to Binder. You cannot summon it from the graveyard because it wasn't properly summoned. And you don't get access to your traps anymore because Binder is not able to be used right now, right? So, I mean, I deal some good chip damage. And then I go for the Duo Drive, get myself some follow-up, get myself the plug-in as well. Then I summon the sword, grab ice effect, send the Cryptor, and now I'm just digging for more hand traps at this point. One thing I could have done instead is utilize Star Liege instead, because what if he plays Metal Tronus, right? I want to find space for it, but like it's so hard. It's kind of tight with the amount of hand traps I'm playing. So anyways, here now I go Node, summon back Sword to not play against a Bestial. And also, I had a hunch that he had a Bestial in his hand because in the battle phase, at the end of it, he was able to use a card effect. And if it was evenly, I think he would have used it. So I'm thinking he has a Bestial in hand. So I had to play around it and, you know, summon the Sword. Here, he doesn't activate it either. And then I end up setting these two cards. I have an Ash, a Veiler, 4 pops, you know, when you think about plug-in, or 3 plus the cross, and, you know, cross out just in case he has a talent, right? So I can banish from the mine, etc, etc. So here, he's going to start with March Hare, banishing the Maliss in the Mirror. I go ahead and pop as Chainlink 2. When he tries to summon back the Cryptor, I do in fact use the negate on the Cryptor so that it stays banished. On the effect of, or on the summon of Dormouse, that's when I will go plug in to summon back X from the banish zone and equip another material, and then get me some follow-up grabbing sword. On the effect of Dormouse, I go Chainlink 2, Detonator, Chainlink 3, Veiler. That way, not only will he not get a banish from the deck, but also I remove the material from the field. And then from here, he goes Druid's Worm, target the White Rabbit. On the White Rabbit effect, I will chain the Detonator because when he activates Rabbit here, this will be Chainlink 1 because he's turn player. And my Aggregator will be Chainlink 2, negating it. It ends up being Chainlink 3 because he does use the Druid's Worm to get rid of the Detonator. But at this point, he served his purpose, right? So I think I'm all good. Chainlink 3 Aggregator, target the White Rabbit, negate it, and then he scoops it up. And now we're on to the final game that I want to show you guys, which, man, it was a long one. This one duel could have been its own video wholeheartedly, but I decided to put it on here. You know, gotta extend it, get some views. And what am I playing against? Trap Trick. Great. I have to deal with Sarah set multiple cards pass, right? How am I going to break through this? Because I don't play Harpies, I don't play Lightning Storm, none of those cards. It just, to me, doesn't seem good in Master Duel at the moment. So, yeah, he activates the Mantis. I have to Veiler here because I don't want him to get more cards into hand. And then he links off for the Sarah. Sets 3 cards. Luckily he didn't draw Holotea, so he has to pass. Now I'm thinking, okay, here is the Maxx C, right? I can either negate with the Ash Blossom or negate with the Crossout Designator. But the thing is I want to negate the Sarah no matter what. So I'm going to hold the Ash for the Sarah and just use the Crossout to negate the Maxx C from the deck. And if he has something to stop Crossout, I mean, so be it. You know, you got it. You're better than me. So I banish Maxx C, negating the Maxx C of my opponents, and then I go for the sword effect. He chains Dominus Purge, so I cannot search. My turn is basically over. And then I use Talents to draw 2 here when he activates the Sarah. Of course, I negate with Ash, and then, you know, I'm digging for basically more level 4s. Unfortunately, the level 4 that I got is the Node, and it doesn't matter if it's in the TCG or in the Master Duel or even the OCG, you're always going to see the Node Ryzeal over the X or Ice or anything. So, you know, whoop-de-fucking-do. I attack over the Sarah, and then I set the Imperm in this column and pass. So from here, he draws, sets another card, and then I do draw, I think, into an X Ryzeal. No, I draw into an Ash. We pass, actually, a good amount of times. It was like 11 turns total, I think. And again, this is the match that I need to rank up to Diamond 3. So I'm thinking I lost, right? Like, the more traps he sets, the less I'm going to be able to go far, right? So, you know, 7th Ascension, grab the 7 Tachyon. It doesn't get stopped. 7 Tachyon, I grab the X Ryzeal, doesn't get stopped. I'm feeling good. He doesn't have Dominus Purge, right? So I summon the X, dumping the Aggregator, and I do this just in case he has it. So I target my sword, and then he Tarentuals, and I'm like, that's okay. I get to grab another copy of sword and continue playing, right? Well, no. See, once I add sword, I special summon it to search for a copy of Ice, and he does end up having the Dominus Purge. And because he has trap cards now, this is now destroyed, and I have to just play with nothing. I could have summoned a Node here if I wanted. Thing is if this gets stopped, I'm like out of play, so I have to just kind of wait it out here. So he draws and he gets the Mantis. I have to negate it with the Imperm here, otherwise I, again, too much disadvantage, right? And then he goes ahead, swings for 15, main phase 2, makes the Sarah yet again. And I mean, again, I'm on my hands and knees. I'm praying that I am able to get something going. Of course, I forget that I draw the Veiler because I top decked it with the Ascension, so I had to pass yet again. But, you know, if he draws another trap trick, I get to negate it, right? So, oh well. Ends up not being used, and that's good because I can use that as a discard fodder for Node. And so I go Bonfire. And finally, I got a copy of Ice to hand. Ice effect, special summon. He goes ahead and uses the Floodgate Trap Hole now. And I guess he does this so that he can utilize the Sarah effect. But like he could have waited until I summoned a Duo Drive. That would have been way better. But I guess he's just, you know, itching for some cards. So this resolves, and I summon the Star in attack mode. Star effect to place the field spell, Chainlink 2 Sarah to summon, Chainlink 3 Ash Blossom, and he goes and he actually has the Gravedigger's Trap Hole, which, you know, I have to take damage and my Ash is negated. Rough. So here, he summons the Pudica, and then on resolution, Pudica is going to target my Star Ryzeal to banish it, which is, you know, it sucks, but it's whatever. Here, Sarah sets the Holitea, and then I go cross to put 2 back, draw, I get a plug-in, which is insane. I send the Ice, special summon Sword, make Tornado Dragon, because I am afraid of this back row. This is just a monster summon as a trap, but this, I don't know what it is. So I activate the Tornado Dragon, target the set, he Holiteas, and I'm like, okay, I just got Dougied, but it's fine. And then I activate the plugin now because I can summon the sword here and then use its effect. So, you know, 2 for 1 special. I attach the material to the Tornado Dragon just cause, you know, why not? And then I summon the X, Aggregator Chainlink 2 just to chain block for no reason. And then I go ahead and add a copy of Sword for follow-up. Special summon it anyways, go for the Duo Drive, realizing that I might as well do it. Duo Drive attach, Duo Drive detach, one and one, grab Ice and grab X. And now I can summon the Ice here, and I forget that I cannot attack with these monsters because of plugin. I should have made a detonator, right? But that's on me. In the future, if you use plugin, just know that you can only attack with rank 4 monsters, okay? Because if I had made the detonator and attacked the Sarah, he is actually left with no options here. Oh well. Main phase 2, I am in a winning position no matter what, so I make the detonator, attach the aggregator, and then pass. And my opponent has very little options here. The Pudica is going to allow me to special summon back the Star Ryzeal. He activates Holitea. I chain Detonator targeting Sarah, and then chain the Tornado Dragon targeting the trap card, because if it doesn't resolve and it actually gets destroyed in the middle of the chain, it does not get to summon here. So once I do that, I secure victory, and that is GG's. Such a long game for such a shitty deck, but you know what? I'll take it. And that has been my matches. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'm planning on doing more of these Master Duel series here and there, and they might increase in production just because of, you know, what's been going on in the TCG. So we'll see if I see more of you guys through this lens than the TCG in the near future. This is my list so far, and if you guys have any adjustments that you think I should make, please leave them in the comment section below. I might try them out if they sound good, and if not, I'm ignoring it. Thank you guys for watching. Peace. I'll catch you on the next one.